just a perfect situation.
Right, the nice straight edge of your band. Now whether you've got it in one long strip, same as me, or whether you've pieced pieces together like this to make your strip. Just lay it down. You may probably want to pin it because you aren't used to sewing or anything. So just put your pin in. Go another one and put your pin in. This material could actually have done with a press because it's wrinkled. A bit like me, old and wrinkled. But never mind. Put your pin in. Take it to the machine. Sew all the way down, but when you come to this bottom bit here, stop and back stitch. Stop about 1/4 inch before the bottom and back stitch to reinforce it. When I'm at that point, I will show you what I mean. In fact, I'll start it anyway. This is what I was saying. Put it underneath. Put your foot down so it lines up with the edge, same as we did at first. Hold your threads. Turn your wheel to get your needle in the material, and then put your foot on. Take you a few stitches forward. That's all. And then you've possibly got a reverse on your sewing machine. Whether it's, in my case, it's a button that you press, or sometimes it's you push a lever up, whichever. Reverse now, backwards. But I'll show you a way if you haven't got a reverse. In fact, I've never used a machine that does not have reverse. But there is another way of doing it if you haven't got reverse. Is while your needle is in, lift your foot. That allows you to turn your material wherever you want. So if you turn it right the way round, put your foot down, you can actually go forward a few stitches. Now because you're back to where you started. Same again, when you've done a few stitches, put your needle in the material, lift your foot, turn it back round, drop your foot, like, and it's now ready for sewing, all the way down to about 1/4 inch off the bottom, and I'll just do that now. Remember, take your pins out as you go. Now if you need to get your last couple of stitches to take you to about 1/4 inch from the bottom of your back squares, not your strip, your back squares, take your wheel and just do it by hand. Turn your wheel forward until you've got to where you want to be, about 1/4 inch off the bottom. Now you can do the reverse stitch I've just shown you, or if you've got the button, press your button in. Do a few stitches, let your button go, reverse it, put it back into normal straight forward stitching, and then go over those few. And then bring your needle up and pull your material out. If like that, if it snags and it won't pull out, it's because the machine hasn't quite finished the stitch it's on. So it needs to do that. So just turn your wheel slightly fraction where you're just slightly pulling on your material, and you'll see that it'll just come away when it's done its stitch. And cut them off. We sewed. It may be difficult to see because I've got white thread. We sewed all the way along here and we back stitch at both ends. You can see better on the opposite side. It's more than 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, but doesn't matter. This technique is going to help you if you decide to make placemats with binding on, because you do exactly the same thing. Right, you've got your strip that is going along here. Basically fold it all the way back so it can't go anymore, because that's where the stitches are. And then take the end of it and put it at the top, and you'll see it forms a triangle down there. It's a bit more difficult to see because it's green material. Chose the wrong side to show you, but you'll get the gist of it. But it goes into a nice triangle and meets at the corner. Then you can bring your strip down so that this fold meets up with the edge of your bag. I want it a bit more than that. There. It meets up with the edge of your bag. Now we don't want this in the way at all when we're sewing, so what I do is I just put a pin up there, hold it out of the way. Then you take it back to your machine, you line up your edges, and you sew right from the edge, back stitch, and then about 1/4 of an inch from the next seam you stop again. I'll show you again. Drop your foot, grab your tails, put your needle in. You can even do it a couple of times if you want. That's it, it's grabbed. Back up. Couple of stitches just to hold your stitches in place, and then sew to 1/4 of an inch from the end. And when you get near enough where you need to be, you can take your foot off and use just the hand if you want it to go slower, and then back it up a touch. Couple of stitches and then forward. A couple of stitches. That's it. This is a good thing to learn this, because it'll help you know end in different other projects and that. It looks a bit funny at the moment, but just wait. Right, we do the same again. Fold it back on itself. Fold it to the side. Make sure it goes to a triangle, and you could see that better because it isn't green. And it meets in the corner. And then fold your strip down so it'll be level with that, with your edge. So that's where we want it to be. That's where the edge is. Get a pin, as before, and just put a pin in, hold it there, and sew all the way down to the end, to the very end of your square bag material. In fact, what we could do now to make sure that we don't just carry on is we can get the scissors and we can cut that bit off. You've got 3 sides done. Take the pins out. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but what happens is flick this back just so you can have a little peek at how it's going, and push the corner through, and look at the lovely mitered corner you've got on there. Again, on this corner, a lovely mitered corner, and that you can see is the strip that's going to be on it. So what you do now is get your other patchwork, where have I put it? Putting things down. That's it. Now you've got to decide. This is going to be my top of the bag. There's no binding or anything around there. It's going to be the top of my bag. So do I want it the other side to mirror it, or do I want it to be upside down? So I think I'll have it that way round. Yeah. So I'm going to have all 4 different at the top, because we're going to sew inside out. We could sew it up with the 2 of the same on the outside, but nah, let's do something different. Let's get the opposite ones together. Although, yeah, I'm doing the opposite ones. And do exactly the same with this as you just did with this one. It's a bit more awkward because you can't manoeuvre it round as well. But I told you it was a little bit more awkward because it's no longer a strip, it's attached to this that you're attaching. But the easiest way I've found is you're sewing, whereas before we sewed the strip on top of our squares. This time our squares will be on top. Unless you wanted to start from the other side, but we didn't. I didn't anyway. So when I get to the corner, stop about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, something like that, and reverse it, and then actually you have to manoeuvre it round a bit so you get your nice straight line straight to your point. And what I do is use several pins. So we've now got it where we want it. Let's put a pin in there to hold it. We want to bring this down. It isn't where we want it at all. Yes. So I've put a pin in there to help it and to help me. And then that'll keep that straight, that pin will, while you line up your edges. And we want this one up there out of the way. So we get another pin, while that first one's still in, get another pin pen there. And then that'll hold that bit in place that you've just done. Then you can go back, remove your pen because you don't want to sew over it. Because I'm sewing round it and I prefer everything to be on my left side, it has to go that way. And can you see how it's lining up there? Just put a pen in the top here and it'll hold that in place while you take this one out to put it under your needle. So don't be afraid just to fiddle around a bit with it. So I can take that one out. And so it's still lined up. Sorry about talking, I've got a pen in my mouth. So it's all lined up. And so all the way to the end, because this is the top of our bag. Take the pins out. Ah! This is why I hate pins. I get stuck with them all the time. All your corners are out, and this is where the magic happens. You can turn your bag the right side out, and now you've got a square bit which will help it to hold more in. You can push your corners out and see how you did. If you didn't meet, you didn't meet. Who's going to come along with a device and have a little look how good your corners are? But that's, we don't really need it turning inside out, well, the right way around at the moment, but just so we can look. And I think that's a convenient stop, well, convenient place to stop. So we'll leave it at that at the moment. And I've got cotton hanging off me. We'll leave it at that at the moment. I will be talking to you, not tomorrow, about lining. Yeah, we'll do the handles tomorrow. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
It's a perfect